Soil preservation and sustainable land management have therefore become essential for reversing the trend of soil degradation and ensuring food security and a sustainable future. It's what Thomas Berry calls the great work of our time. Pelletier and Poole have a little poem. Wherever you are is home, and the earth is paradise. Wherever you set your feet is holy land. You don't live off it like a parasite. You live in it, and it in you, or you don't survive. So how do we support healthy soils? Within the Land Stewardship Project and the Sustainable Farming Association of Minnesota, we have come to understand that there are 5 basic things. We should have the least amount of mechanical disturbance as possible, to not turn over soils, to keep them like right side up, to keep the soil covered, to keep it protected, to have lots of plant diversity. I was delighted this morning walking through the yard here, and there's lots of clover in the grass, and there's plantain, and there's dandelion. There were even a few thistles, it's nice. And keep living roots in the ground as long as possible. And among farmers, we have to remind ourselves that nature doesn't try to farm without animals. So how do we reintegrate livestock into our cropping systems? I'm going to refer you sometime to read the poem about the soil expert. Not now. Okay, in your packet. And right after Pope Francis spoke to Congress calling for a courageous and responsible effort to avert environmental deterioration, there was this big rally going on in front of the Capitol, people from the Carbon Underground, to remind the administration that if we fix the soil, we fix all of it. That we can take billions of pounds of carbon out of the atmosphere and sequester it, hold it in the soil if we keep it covered, if we have plant diversity, if we don't turn it over as much, if we don't poison it as much. So what are we to do? What are we to become to be able to respond to all this? If we know that if we bring the carbon back and we can fix the climate, and we have all these people to feed. So among state and federal agencies, goals are being set, like the number of acres that are to be planted with cover crops. But I think we also need to have goals that are a change in the way that we think, mental shifting. And have psychological goals as well. Among farmers, it's time for us to adapt. It's time for us to change. People say, well, you can't change agriculture. And of course, agriculture has always changed. And we can do it. I'd like you to ask yourselves 2 questions. How do my decisions today affect the quality and availability of soil in the future? How do my decisions today affect the quality and availability of soil in the future? And what can I do to restore and protect natural resources? One is altering our perceptions of beauty. The landscape that I drove through to get here was largely blackened. Vulnerable soils. These are not beautiful, they are naked. And we also need to work together on continuing to make big changes in our federal farm program, which is continuing to reward the kinds of landscape that I drove through on my way to Mankato. So we can choose to subsidize farmers who want to make healthy soils. Right? And wherever you are living, compost. There's this great new program, Mankato, $2 a month. They'll come and pick up your compost, for heaven's sakes. How wonderful. Make rain gardens, make edible yards, grow some of your own food, plant diversity, keep your soil covered. Keep your soil covered. And there are a lot of people making what I think is an oxymoron of a set of recommendations, which are to eat vegetarian and to use animal manures. So if you haven't done it already, I'd like you to investigate the possibility of supporting grass-based livestock producers in your neighborhood.